Hi, this is Dima from Tibco Jaspersoft. In this video, I would like to demonstrate how to deploy and execute data integration jobs using Jasper ETL Studio, Talent Administration Center, also known as TAC, and Job Server. After watching this video, you'll be able to work with projects, project authorization, and job conductor menus. So first of all, we're going to build a job using Jasper ETL Studio. Then we're going to go to TAC to set up our project and project authorization. Then we're going to deploy the job to TAC using job conductor. And finally, we're going to schedule a job using triggers. So let's start by going to Jasper ETL Studio and building our job. So I have a pretty simple job that just generates some dummy data using T-row generator component and outputs it to the CSV file. Now let's run this job to see what actually it does. So the results of this job execution could be checked in the CSV file, created on localhost. So I have this commit underscore timestamp.csv file created on my workstation. You can see some dummy data, 20 rows getting created. So I'm using the Windows path here since my workstation is in Windows. However, since my TAC server is in Linux, I will have to use a Linux path. That's where I introduce context variables for two environments. So dev is my Windows workstation and UAT is Linux. Okay, now let's build our job. Just right click on the job in your repository viewer, select build job, select the path on your workstation, and what I'm doing here is selecting the UAT context environment because I will be deploying my job on TAC, and the files generated will have to use Linux path. Click finish, save. Okay, now I have my zip file built and ready to be deployed on TAC to be executed on Job Server. Okay, so we've finished step number 1, so let's move on to step number 2, set up project and project authorization in TAC. So go to your TAC server, go to projects, click add. So important note here for the label, if you're doing a plain simple project without SVN or Git, so just type in the same label as you're using here in your local project in Jasper ETL Studio. So mine is current, so that's what I'm gonna use here. Current, save. Now what we're gonna do next is set up project authorization, so my user, which I'm logged in as, will be able to use this project in Job Conductor. set the permissions. So next step is to deploy our job to TAC using Job Conductor. So go to Job Conductor menu, click Add Normal Task. One note here, and this is most probably a use case for development environment where you just want to have your job tested real quick. However, in production environment, most probably you'll be using things like version control system or artifact repository. But for the sake of this demonstration, I'm just manually building job and uploading and running it on my TAC. So what we're gonna do is go select our job that we previously saved in Jasper ETL Studio. You can see that project name, version, so getting retrieved from the properties file of our build job. So we're gonna just put the label on, commit dev job. And you can also see that by default the UAT context environment is selected. We also have to select our execution server, which is the job server we previously created here under Conductor servers. Just make sure it's up and running. And that should be good for now. Well, let's click save. So you can actually run this job right away. See what are the results. We should get a CSV file generated on our backend, which is on Linux. Let's do just that, and then we'll talk a little bit about triggers. So we can see that our job execution is finished. I'm gonna check context parameters. So we used the original value of UAT context, which means that we should have a file name commit plus timestamp.csv file. So let's check that. So it's in the vagrant ETL. Okay, so we see that file has been created. See our 20 rows. We can also see the results of our job execution. So I've previously set up both execution logs and generated jobs folder. This folder contains the deployed job. That's actually where the information about project, name and context is populated from. So see context name, default context name UAT, project, version, stuff like that. Let's check server execution logs. Could be some info there as well. So we can see that 20 rows were generated as expected. This also provides some info on what were the context used and time when your job was actually executed. Okay, so now let's try to schedule this job using triggers. Gonna create a simple trigger, but you can also do a cron trigger or file trigger. So what I want to do is run my job 5 times each 10 seconds. 5 times execution. Type in 4 repetitions each 10 seconds. Click save. We can see that triggers running right away. First execution has finished. We have 4 more to go. Okay, so our trigger has finished running. You can see the status is completed. 5 out of 5. Let's go to our backend and check if the files were created. Okay, so we can see that 5 files were created as expected each 10 seconds. And we can also see our job conductor logs if we want to have a closer look at each job run. Jobs. Oops. Logs. Those are 5 pairs of each job run. Okay, that's it for this video. We have learned how to build a job in Jasper ETL to be deployed in TAC. We have configured a project and its authorization, used job conductor to deploy and run our job both manually and using triggers. Thanks for watching.